New Zealand joins the space race. Test launches for a commercial space rocket built by a startup based both in Los Angeles and New Zealand are scheduled to take place this week. The rocket Lab Electron is made of carbon composite material, and its rocket boosters use 3D-printed Rutherford engines. The rocket's first stage has a cluster of 9 electric engines that burn liquid oxygen and refined kerosene. The second stage has a single vacuum-optimized engine that can carry payloads weighing up to 225 kilograms. The Electron rocket will deliver small satellites into space. They will be used for mapping, to predict the weather, provide high-speed internet, and analyze the environment. Rocket Lab plans to complete 3 test launches before the Electron is available commercially. The company plans to eventually build and launch 1 rocket per week, with flights costing around $5 million each. Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews. Keep watching for more on the race into space. NASA might start sending people back into space sooner than expected. NASA seems to be taking a cue from Trump, taking a bolder, riskier approach after the president made it apparent he wanted the U.S. to retain its dominance in space. Since the end of the space shuttle program, NASA has relied on Russia to send its astronauts into space. The agency's acting administrator announced Wednesday that it's thinking of sending astronauts on a space mission earlier than planned, possibly within Trump's first term in office. NASA's Space Launch System rocket was originally slated to go on its first exploration mission in 2018 with an unmanned space capsule. This timeline calls for the SLS to be launched from the Kennedy Space Center on September 30th, carrying the Orion space capsule into space in a mission known as EM-1. The capsule would orbit the moon for about 3 weeks before returning to Earth, splashing down into the ocean with the help of parachutes. A second crewed mission was scheduled for 2021. But with new plans considering the addition of a crew to EM-1, it seems astronauts could be going on the Orion as early as 2019. For that, NASA needs an SLS rocket with a more powerful second stage, known as the Exploration Upper Stage, or EUS. But though the design for EUS has been approved, it has yet to be built. Another hurdle the agency needs to overcome is human rating the Orion space capsule, which at the moment is still missing key life support systems. NASA may be enthusiastic about its latest move, but it's unclear how NASA will meet program schedules, especially given its limited budget. Largest ever fleet of satellites will keep a constant eye on Earth. Satellite images of every place on Earth taken every single day will move one step closer to reality this week when these satellites are launched into space. A San Francisco startup named Planet plans to launch the largest fleet of satellites in history aboard a rocket from India. The 88 Dove imaging satellites will be deployed at an approximate altitude of 500 kilometers on a sun-synchronous orbit. That means they will pass over any given point on the Earth's surface at the same local solar time. Combined with 12 Dove satellites already in space, 100 satellites in total will fly north to south as the Earth rotates beneath them to form a line scanner constellation of satellites. If the launch is successful, Planet expects to capture daily images of the entire Earth. The solar-powered Dove satellites weigh about 4 kilograms each and are equipped with a series of optics and sensors. These include a main camera that can capture images at 3 to 5 meter resolution. The shoebox-sized satellites will continually photograph the surface of the Earth and complete an orbit approximately every 90 minutes. Planet recently acquired Google's Terra-Bella satellite business, including its 7 high-resolution SkySat satellites. The SkySat satellites are about the size of a cubicle mini refrigerator. They can capture 90-centimeter resolution images in color and near infrared.
NASA's Orion spacecraft prepares for first test launch. The capsule that will bring humans one step closer to setting foot on Mars is slated to make its first flight in 2018. 5 months ago, NASA technicians began the first assembly weld on the Orion Multipurpose Crew Vehicle, or MPCV, spacecraft. The Orion's pressure vessel, the part filled with air for astronauts, started out in 7 pieces. Those pieces were fused together by mid-January. The pressure vessel was then transported from the Michaud Assembly Facility in Louisiana to the Kennedy Space Center in Florida. It traveled on a Super Guppy cargo aircraft equipped with a compartment that is 25 feet tall, 25 feet wide, and 111 feet long, and it arrived on February 1st. At the Kennedy Space Center, the Orion will be equipped with subsystems, outer layers, and a heat shield, everything it needs to complete its first mission, which NASA has announced will be an unmanned test flight to the moon in 2018 to check its structural integrity. The little guy is already being heralded America's next great leap in space exploration. That's a lot of pressure for your first assignment, but you got this, Orion.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support TomoNews at patreon.com/TomoNews.
NASA to send Orion spacecraft on unmanned flight test. The Orion spacecraft, which is designed to carry astronauts to Mars, will undergo an unmanned flight test in early December. An Orion capsule will be launched into space on a Delta IV rocket from Cape Canaveral on December 4th. The lower stage and the launch abort system will separate from the upper stage. Orion will orbit twice around the Earth. When it reaches an altitude of 5,800 kilometers, it will be 15 times higher above the planet than the International Space Station. Orion's upper stage will then separate and its crew module will return to Earth. Its heat shield is designed to ensure it will be able to withstand temperatures of almost 4,000 degrees Fahrenheit during re-entry. When the spacecraft returns to the atmosphere, parachutes will deploy in different stages to slow its descent. Scientists will retrieve the capsule after it falls into the ocean. NASA has allocated $375 million for the first test flight. In subsequent tests, the Orion will be mounted on a new rocket named the Space Launch System.
NASA postpones launch of Orion exploration capsule. The launch of NASA's unmanned Orion exploration capsule was delayed on Thursday due to several reasons, including technical issues. The initial delay came shortly before the 7:05 a.m. expected launch of the Orion space capsule, when a stray boat entered the launch zone east of the Cape Canaveral Air Force Station. Once the boat was removed, strong winds led to the 2 successive launches set for 7:17 and 7:55 being scrapped. The following launch, expected for 8:26 a.m., was again stopped, this time due to a fuel and drain valve that did not close, and delayed until Friday. The planned 4.5-hour mission will see Orion flying around the Earth for 3,600 miles during 2 orbits and then re-enter the Earth's atmosphere before falling into the Pacific Ocean. The data gathered from the mission will be used to build a more flight-worthy Orion spacecraft, with the aim of flying astronauts to Mars for the first time in 2021.